What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Across the Board, sponsored by MoneyBall Metrics. We have a little bit of an interesting episode today. JD is making his way back from Detroit, so we will see him in a couple days. But today, you guys get a little pick and roll, a little two-man game for myself, Alpha Dog Bats, here with my good friend Ben from We Beat the Spread. Ben, I'm excited to dive in with you. How was your weekend, and how are you today?
My weekend was terrible. The Ravens did not do what I thought they would do. Lost yet another cluck bet. That will be coming on Friday, and that was not fun. But other than that, very good weekend. So I guess I should say outside that game, it was a good weekend.
I'll take it. Yeah, I had a good weekend myself. It was great to kick back after Thanksgiving and enjoy. We still have a couple things before we break down the weekend. Ben, you already said how you did, so I am not going to make you do that twice. But let me throw up the graphic here. Weekend recap. I had an absolutely massive Sunday. We went 6-0. We swept the board. We hit every single NFL pick. So I'm excited to carry that over. Let's win on Monday night as well and keep the hot streak rolling. Ben, we have a beautiful 4-game slate today. It's a little bit of a smaller slate, but I do feel that there's some good value on the board today. Maybe a bit of a shorter show because it's a small slate. So anybody in the comments, if you have anything to ask, any questions, comments, concerns, whatever you guys want, we're here to answer every single question and give you guys the best show possible. Ben, you ready to dive into some NBA?
Let's do it.
Let's get it, brother. First game we're going to be covering today is going to be the Heat taking on the Celtics. Let me get the game up here, and here we go. Heat taking on the Celtics. Heat are coming in a 500 ball club entirely in the situation that they are in today. They're 9-9 on the year, but they're also 5-5 on the road, taking on a Celtics team that is 16-4 in the year and 7-2 at home. Ben, it's about a 10-point spread in this game. What do you like in this matchup between the Heat and Celtics?
Yeah, this is a tough one for me because the Celtics are obviously coming off a pretty intense game against Cleveland yesterday. They lost that one narrowly on the road, and now they're coming back home. It's a back-to-back with travel. It's just kind of a tough spot because yesterday was obviously a very intense game. Now the Heat are also on a back-to-back, and Jimmy Butler did play yesterday. I see he's a game-time decision tonight. I'd be very surprised if Jimmy Butler played tonight. I think the line's kind of telling you that the books don't think he will. Given that this is 9.5 points. And I mean, just with him on and off the court, there's a pretty stark difference. I know he's not, necessarily playoff Jimmy right now, but still, I mean, you're losing a big piece of your offense. So I actually do lean the under in this spot. I think we're going to see a little bit of a slower game. The Celtics coming off that really intense game yesterday. Heat probably not having Jimmy Butler in this game. I just think we see kind of a lower scoring game tonight, and that total's sitting right at 220. With a total here, it actually is kind of telling me it's the under as well because it's a little bit lower for a Celtics game.
Yeah, I like this. If I were to take one of the sides here, I like the under as well. But when you take a look at these two teams, how they've done all season, would you believe that Miami has covered more games this year than the Boston Celtics at a higher percentage at least?
Not necessarily.
I wouldn't think that. I wouldn't think that, especially as a 9-9 team. But Boston isn't covering at the same rate that they were covering at last year. So me personally, I would definitely take Miami plus the points here. I just think it's too many points in a game where Boston hasn't shown that they're going to cover these massive spreads. You can currently get the line at plus 10 at minus 110. That's exactly what I'm playing. Jimmy may not go, but I do still think by the end of this game, we could see a backdoor cover by Miami. And the way things have played out this year, that's how games have kind of gone when they've been big underdogs this year. So give me Miami plus the 10. Absolutely love that play. Let's go over and check out the comments. Nick Castrucci is here. Happy Monday, brother. You see, I got your last name right this time now that I know. Joe is here as well. Let's print some money. We appreciate you, bro. Ben with the easiest 13.5 winner I've ever seen. Let's go, Ben. J-Bo is here. Happy Monday. I appreciate the sweep. I don't know, Ben, but he's saying you won something. Just take the compliment.
Yeah,
Shut up.
That comment, you should elaborate, Jay. Or that was Joel.
That was Joe. So let us know what you mean by that, Joe. And Joe is also saying he's so afraid of an under against the Celtics. Those threes are deadly from anyone. I completely agree. It is a scary total. That's why I'm not touching it. The Celtics can go off at any time. And Ben, he is saying from the Raiders Kansas City game. So there you go. Big win from you there. So we appreciate
that was a fun one. Yep. I forgot about that because it was all the way back on Friday. It feels like forever ago,
Right. that Thanksgiving week, man, it's a completely different week.
Feels like forever.
Could not agree more. Let's keep it moving, brother, to the second game we're covering today, which is going to be the Nets taking on the Bulls. The Nets are coming in 9-12 on the year. They're 5-7 on the road, taking on a Bulls team that's 8-13 on the year, but this team has not won at home. They're 2-7 this season at home. Ben, what do you got?
Yeah, for this game, it's kind of just hard for me because it's kind of an injury report thing for the Nets.
Yeah, everybody.
Yeah,
Everybody.
even Ben Simmons was healthy before. Now he's all of a sudden a game time decision as well, which he's not that big of a scoring threat, but he's actually been very underrated in the rebounds and assist department. He's still been kind of helping run that offense with Cam Thomas and some of those other guys out, but still just so many questionables for tonight that I don't even think I could confidently make a play either way. Like we don't know if Cam Johnson's going to play, we don't know if Finney Smith's going to play, we don't know if Ben Simmons is going to play. Quite a big core of their offense right there.
Yeah.
2 starters healthy tonight. So it's going to be a no play for me. If anything, I would actually lean taking the Bulls. I do think that they have potential to blow them out, especially if those guys are still.
Like any props in this game, Cam Johnson's been good this year. There's a couple guys on this Nets team that have been able to put up some points. Anything you like in terms of points for this game? Any props, anything like that?
If Ben Simmons does play, I would like to play his assists because he's obviously been passing more. I actually took his points, rebounds, and assists a few nights ago, and I think he ended up shooting 2 field goals the whole game. Or I think it was 2 or 3 or something like that. It's just he's not shooting. He's passing. He's averaging around 70 passes per game and like a ridiculously high potential assist. So I think his is probably sitting – I haven't even looked at it, but I'm assuming it's 6.5, somewhere like that. So if he does play tonight, I do like taking Ben Simmons' assists line. There's nothing on there for him because they're all just so questionable right now. I don't think they're listing anything. But if that opens and he's playing around 6.5, I'd take that.
Yeah, not a lot of props currently available. I'm going through right now as well. When you take a look at the Nets tonight, so their injury list is Dorian Finney-Smith, Zaire Williams, Cam Johnson, Ben Simmons, Day'Ron Sharpe. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of starters. And every single player has a game time decision tag. So we still haven't gotten word on who went through morning shoot around. If we do get that while we're on the show, I will break that down. Notifications on for every single team's alerts when I can find out who was at practice, who was not at practice in the morning of. So we will get some info on that hopefully soon. For me, I'm exactly in the same boat as Ben. Sometimes, guys, the best play is no play. If I had a lean in this game, I would take the Nets, so a little bit opposite of what Ben's saying. But I am going to stay off. We did want to talk about this game because of all the injuries. But for me, it is no play on this game. Back over to the comments. Casper is here. What's up, brother? Our friend from the Faroe Islands. We appreciate you tuning in. Joe said, I put it up quickly, that it's a prop game for him. I agree. We just have to get a little bit more information. And Nick Claxton has the Ben effect. Won't shoot, just rebound and pass. He is good at that. Claxton's a guy who can really take advantages of those rebound and assist props. So I definitely agree with you there. But for me, still going to be no play till we get a little bit more information. But let's move, Ben, to the next game we're covering, which I have plays on the last 2 games, so I'm excited to dive into it. We're taking the Lakers, taking on the Timberwolves. Lakers are coming in 12-8 on the year. They're 5-5 on the road. T-Wolves, a bit of a disappointment. They're 9-10 on the year, but they are 6-4 at home. Ben, you're a resident Minnesota everything. A lot of injuries tonight on the Lakers. You even see a guy like Bronny James as a game time decision. What do you like in this one? What do you think about all the injuries? And can your Minnesota Timberwolves right the ship?
Yeah, so it has been an interesting season so far. 9-10, but I don't think it's quite time to freak out yet. I think that getting Randall and DiVincenzo just kind of in their spots in the offense, it still looks like it's just a little bit off, but it's getting better. And they're coming off a nice win against the Clippers. They didn't cover. But I have not been betting the Wolves that much this year because I knew it would kind of take some time to mesh, and that's exactly what we've seen. They're still even trying to figure out the rotation with Mike Conley and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of pieces to move around there, but I think they're slowly figuring it out. They're at home, and they're facing a Lakers team that's in a really, really tough spot. They're playing their 3rd game in 4 nights. They're on the second end of a back-to-back, and they're in one of the harder back-to-back spots because they played at altitude last night. Playing on the road in Denver and Utah are 2 of the hardest places to play in the NBA because of that altitude. And the Lakers are on a back-to-back playing in Utah last night, and it's their 3rd game in 4 nights tonight, and they're traveling. It's just a really bad situation for them. And they have 2 of their best passers, 2 of their guys that kind of lead the offense when they have the ball, 2 point guards. Austin Reeves and D'Angelo Russell both probably not playing. Austin Reeves might, but either way, they're banged up, and it's just not a great thing to see. Dalton Knecht's probably going to be one of their main guards in this game. And he's looked good so far, but
he's been great.
It's asking a lot of him to kind of put a lot of the guard weight on his shoulders. So especially against, I should say, a team that's probably defense guards up there with the best in the NBA because they have very good guard defense on the Wolves. So I think this is a good spot for them. Just finally getting that win and moving to 9-10. The fact that they're under 500 and they're -8, they're laying 8 points here, kind of tells me this is the Wolves spot that they kind of get a blowout win.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way you do. This is the one game I am taking the favorite. The other two games I did like the big dogs, but this one to me is definitely a Timberwolves spot. I know they have not looked good this year, but you put it perfectly. It is going to take a little bit of time for this team to gel. They have a lot of new key pieces, a lot of guys they need to learn how to play with. And to me, when you get a couple big additions like a Dante DiVincenzo, a Julius Randle, it's all about floor spacing. You have to learn how to play off each other, and that spacing is crucial. And we just haven't seen them perfect the spacing with the guys they have, but we have seen it getting better as games have gone on, and they have the perfect matchup today against not exactly the fastest team, not exactly the most athletic team, especially with the injuries that they have tonight. So the spacing issues do get a little bit more easier on the team and easier to deal with. I'm all over the T-Wolves. Like I said, I agree with you, Ben. We should see a monster performance from the T-Wolves tonight. Back over to the comments. Ben, question for you as the prop guy. Julius Randle over 7 rebounds for plus money against a Lakers soft center core. He's taking it. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. You make a good point, and there's probably going to be some tired legs out there. Probably won't be as physical in this game. Randall's been hitting that. He's hit this in the last 2 games. He looks like his floor. I mean, his floor this year, he's averaging 6.9, but it seems like his floor is 6. So getting 7 or over 7. I don't know if it's sitting right there for you because usually there's a hook on the props. But yeah, I don't mind it at all playing against the Lakers in this spot. It should be one of those spots where the Lakers
have
tired legs and don't rebound as well. Plus, I was just looking at it. I was like, didn't we play the Lakers earlier this season? Yeah, actually, the first game of the year, Randall played the Lakers and he had 9 rebounds. So
there we go.
And that was
I like it too. I like it too. And one more prop question before we get to the Monday Night Football game. I know we have just over 350 people here. I know everybody wants the football picks. We've been hot in football. We'll get to that in just a moment. But, Ben, before we do, Ant-Man, 4 3-pointers made.
This one's really tough for me because the volume is always there. The volume's there, but he's had some stinkers, especially lately, where he shoots like 11, 12 threes. He only makes like 3. So 4... I mean, he gets it quite a bit, and the volume's definitely there. I'm a little iffy on it. If it was 3.5, like I said, I'm a little confused if you mean 3.5 or 4.5. I'm assuming it's 3.5 because the hook, but yeah.
Well, you could take, on FanDuel, you could take a specific amount of 3. So on FanDuel right now,
if
4 plus 3
if you take 4
currently, it's currently minus 140. So it's not terrible odds.
Ooh, minus 140.
I don't love it, though. That's what I was going to ask you. So I have another option here. What do you think about Ant-Man to make 5 threes at plus 150? Add that extra one because if he's going to have the volume for 4. He's going to have the volume for 5. He takes a ton of threes per game. In this matchup with an injured Lakers team, we're not sure who's going to be guarding him, but ideally it's probably not going to be a great defender. I think that he's going to make at least 5. I would prefer to take 5 threes over 4 threes and get that at a plus 150 rather than paying a minus 140. What do you think about that, Ben?
Yeah, I like that a lot. I wouldn't like taking minus 140 on a 3s prop, and you make a good point there. The volume's going to be there. If he's going to have 4, he's probably going to have 5. I know he's had 4 exactly in a lot of games, but for the juice on that, I don't like minus 140 for 4 because he's gone 0 for 9 at times this year. Like, he's very hot and cold. So
yep. And you see another comment we have from Jess. Jess, we appreciate you tuning in as always. She's saying, take whoever LeBron is guarding to score. I don't blame you on that. He has been a little lackluster on defense so far this year, so I definitely agree with you there.
I mean, the dude's 39 years old, and specifically in this game, they're coming off a back-to-back. He played 36 minutes last night at altitude. I don't think he's playing much defense tonight, so I think you have a point there. I'd say he's probably going to actually guard, I would think maybe Gobert, because Randall will probably be guarded by AD. But I don't know. That's kind of a weird situation, too. They'll probably play like 50-50 and switch on that.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel as well. All right, Ben. It's about that time. We have one game we're breaking down last, and I think we're going to have sorry, this heat in my house is making me all choked up today. I think we're going to have the most comments on this one, the most props to go over, and the most attention is on this NFL game. So let's dive right into it. We're taking on the Broncos versus the Browns. Browns are coming in 3-8. They are 1-4 on the road, going to Denver, taking on a Broncos team that's 7-5 overall and 3-2 at home. Over to the injury report. It's kind of lengthy here for both teams. For the Browns, Jedrick Wills is out. That's a huge loss for their offensive line. Miles Harden, IR, out. Sam Kamara ruled out. Juan Thornhill ruled out, and Cedric Tillman, one of their better receivers, has been ruled out. On the other side, Josh Reynolds is on IR. He is expected to try and give it a go today. He could return, so we will see about that. And the rest of the injuries are a little minor. They don't have Riley Moss, who's one of their corners, not their best corner. And they are missing Tyler Batty, who he is on the IR. We saw a couple weeks ago he took a nasty hit in that Jets-Broncos game that ended his season. So not a ton on the Broncos side. Ben, a couple injuries on the Browns side. Any props? Game totals, sides, what do you like?
Yeah, so I'm definitely leaning the Broncos in this game, but seeing how many people are on them is really scaring me because they are a very, very, very public favorite here tonight. I think rightfully so, they should definitely be favored, and you're getting it under a touchdown, which is why I still lean that way. Like, I mean, I would say don't let public action necessarily always sway your picks, but the fact that it's this heavy is making me a little bit worried. But I definitely think this is a game for the Broncos. The Cleveland Browns are coming off a really good win. It was a hard fought win in snow, and they're getting a mini bye here, which actually is nice. They got a scheduling miracle because they play a
Exactly.
Thursday game, and then they get to wait all the way till Monday. That's like a mini bye for them, which is a nice scheduling spot. But they're coming off their biggest win of the season, of course, in a really close, hard fought divisional game. And now they're going on the road to face someone outside their division. I just think this is a good Broncos spot from how we've been seeing their defense play specifically. Like we saw them only give up 6 points to the Falcons a few weeks ago. They kept the game super close to the Chiefs. Should have won that game. Crazy blocked field goal to lose that game. Easily a game that they should have taken if that field goal doesn't get blocked. Like they're just playing really good football right now, and their defense is playing well. I definitely think they're going to force some turnovers from Jameis Winston because he's kept them down somewhat. But this is a game where I think he's going to have to force some throws, and that's not usually a good situation for Jameis Winston. We've seen him throw 3 picks this year, but he had a really good start not throwing any picks. Now we've seen him throw 4 in the last 3 games. I think he's definitely going to throw 1 or 2 tonight.
Interesting. I'm on the complete other side. I absolutely love the Browns in this spot. You're going to give me, what's the current line here? I want to give the exact current line. I had it at 6.5 earlier. Yes, it's still 6.5. I like having that hook. I think it's definitely a Browns spot. I know they're missing Cedric Tillman, but the connection Jameis Winston and Jerry Jeudy have developed over the last couple of weeks is something you can't sleep on. Judy's been having some absolutely monster games. Nick Chubb is getting healthy as well, and this defense is starting to look a little bit like last year's defense. They're starting to play a little bit better. Myles Garrett is impacting the game a little bit more, and I do think the Browns are going to be the play in this spot. Like I said, I know they're going to be missing Jedrick Wills. I know they're missing Cedric Tillman, but with Jameis Winston back there, this team believes in them again. I truly believe when you're playing an NFL game, you need to believe in your quarterback to put on a good performance. And while Deshaun Watson was the quarterback of this Browns team, I don't think that the rest of the guys on the team believed in him as the quarterback and thought they could win ball games. And I think that impacted how this team performed early in the year. I think as long as Jameis is back there, he's a motivational guru. We've all seen his videos. They're absolutely hilarious. But imagine playing for that guy. He's the exact quarterback you want to run through a wall for. You know he's going to give you every bit of his energy and every bit of everything he has to win, and that's what a team rallies on. Another thing I like to look at here, I talk about it all the time, is the ESPN BPI analytics. They have this game as 51% Denver and 49% to Cleveland, so they think this one is a toss-up. I think the Broncos probably win this game by around 3 points. I don't think they win it by more than a field goal, definitely not more than a touchdown, and I absolutely love the Browns in this spot. I am all over the Browns, plus the 6.5. There is a question I want to talk on. I do believe you may have a prop or two in this game, Ben, so we're still going to talk about a couple props in this one. But, J-Bo, I am sitting here. You're asking good advice for sports betting, bankroll management, and where do we start and all that. I'm going to talk to JD and the rest of the crew for a Friday show. This is going to take an entire episode to kind of explain all that. That's something I really can't break down quickly. So I'm going to see if we can get a whole episode for you guys so we can kind of go over how we did it. But Joe put it perfectly. If you do jump in the Moneyball Metrics Discord, you can hit us up, ask any questions at any time. We're there to help you guys with anything that we can. Ben, what props you got?
So my favorite prop for this game is actually an under, and it's going to be Nick Chubb under 53.5 rushing yards. He's coming off a 20 carry game against the Steelers, but he only had 59 rushing yards, averaging 3 yards a carry. And before that, yes, he's getting healthier, but we've seen him not be necessarily a workhorse type running back.
Yeah.
They're still splitting the snap share there. And we just haven't seen him necessarily be that workhorse. And I don't think that's going to be the case in this game because, well, first of all, I expect them to be down, so I don't think they're going to be running as much. But even if they aren't, we've seen him just in games get still, as he was working up to getting healthy, he had 16 carries in his second game back, 15 in his third game back. Then he went back down to 11, and he hasn't passed his prop in any of those games before he got 20 carries against Pittsburgh in the snow game, which we all knew he was going to be running in that game. So I just think this is another spot where the Broncos have an amazing run defense. I think they allow like the fourth lowest, off the top of my head, I think it's fourth lowest rushing yards per game to running backs. One of the better run defenses in the NFL. And he just barely passes against Pittsburgh, who's another good running defense, but
Yeah.
he barely passed against them with 20 carries, and I just do not think he's going to get 20 carries tonight.
Yeah, I can see that as well. And I have a couple props in this game I'm taking as well. I kind of alluded to it earlier. I'm loving what I'm seeing out of Jerry Jeudy in this connection with Jameis Winston. They've really been able to find something. And Jerry Judy's a very talented receiver. We saw early in his career, there were a lot of rumors of him going to be traded out of the Broncos to some contenders for some high round picks. It just didn't pan out, but he really hasn't had many quarterbacks to play with in his career. He just hasn't. This game, I'm taking Jerry Jeudy anytime touchdown plus 250. I'm also taking him 2+ at plus 2,100. I do think he has a chance to get 2 touchdowns tonight. I agree with what Joe said here that this total is way too low. I think we are going to see points in this game. We have seen the Broncos defense as of late. They have given up some big point games, but they've also scored some big point games as well. Last week against a Raiders team who's the Raiders quarterback? I guarantee half the people in here can't name that. That was a 29-19 game. The week before, the Broncos scored 38 on Atlanta. So we've seen some high totals in their games. On the other side, the Browns recently gave up 35 points to the Saints, 27 points to the Chargers. So I think both teams will give up points here. I think it will be relatively close at the end, but I do think we will see a high-scoring game as well. That being said, yet again, I really do love Jerry Jeudy, 2+ touchdowns tonight at plus 2,100. I'm taking a small half-unit chance on that, as well as I'm going all in full unit on Jerry Jeudy, at least 1 touchdown in this game. He should be able to get some space. He should be able to find the end zone. And we all know Jameis Winston is going to be chucking the ball. This is exactly what Jameis Winston does. He's a gunslinger. He's a vintage gunslinger. So watching him play football is always exciting. And I really do think we're going to see a big performance out of Jameis and a couple big receivers having some big moments, because yet again, Cedric Tillman is not going to be there tonight. And you know the Browns are still going to be throwing the ball. So I think it's a good value spot to try and target some of the receiving options for the Browns in this game, because I don't think it's going to be as low scoring as they are projecting. Any other props on this game from you, Ben?
Well, while you were just talking about it, and I alluded to it too during mine, I was just looking at Jameis's odds to throw an interception. He's minus 168 on FanDuel. I'd say that's a good parlay piece. I definitely think he's going to be slinging it tonight. We were talking about that run game. I don't think they're going to be using a workhorse rate of Chubb tonight. I think they are going to pass in this game. That's when we see Jameis at his best. They're playing in Denver. Conditions are supposed to be pretty good. So I think he's definitely going to be slinging the ball tonight. And like I said, 4 picks in his last 3 games after not having one for like the first, I think it was like 6 games. So definitely a spot where I'd say that's a good parlay piece. I don't know about taking it straight up. Minus 170 is kind of a lot of juice for that prop, but I definitely do think he does throw a pick tonight. At least one.
So you're all the way against Jameis tonight. Ben is
no, I'm not all the way against him. He could have
like
300 passing yards. But listen, if he has 300 passing yards tonight, that probably means that Chubb, well, it probably means that he goes under because they're throwing a lot. And it probably means that he's also going to have a pick if he's throwing that much. So he could still have a really good game. We've seen, I mean, the Falcons, Kirk Cousins threw like 4 picks yesterday, and they still nearly won the game. So, I mean, just because he throws a pick or two doesn't mean they can't win.
True that. Before we get out of here, we didn't do an extra game, so I'm keeping you a little longer. What do you like about this prop from Joe? Any props you like on the Broncos side? I'm a big Cortland Sutton guy. Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton's kind of the Jerry Jeudy to Jameis of what Cortland Sutton is for Bo Nix right now. Cortland Sutton had 2 unbelievable touchdowns last week. Any props you like on the Broncos side?
Yeah, the Bo Nix, I don't hate that 1.5 TDs because I actually do think this is going to be kind of a higher scoring game. I agree with you, and someone in the comments said higher scoring game too. Oh, yeah, Joe.
It was Joe.
Total's way too low. I actually don't mind that for plus 120. That's a pretty good line, I think. I know that the Browns typically have a pretty good defense, but we've seen them get beat through the air, and they are big play prone. So I do not hate that actually for plus 120. I would say that's probably my favorite prop in this one because on the Broncos side, because I don't really like taking his passing yards. I think they might go to that run game a little bit, and that Browns defense can be so hit or miss. Like that's why I wasn't super confident when I was talking about Broncos -6 tonight, because I mean the Browns defense is very hit or miss. If Myles Garrett shows up and that pass rush is getting there, they're not going to be able to get too many big passing plays off. So, but if anything, I do like that plus 120 there, just because the line the most. But I like that probably the most. So I'm going to take a prop.
I like it as well. Breaking news, it is confirmed. Taysom Hill torn ACL, it's looking like. He tore something in his knee. They've officially ruled him out for the year and put him on IR. So bad news for the Saints there. Taysom's been playing great, but had to get that in there. Before we get into the final bits of the show, guys, you do know we still have best bets and a couple things we have to go over. So give me 1 second here, and let's start breaking down everything we have to get us out of here, Ben. We're going to first go over the Cyber Monday sale from MoneyBall Metrics. Guys, these rates, you get locked in at recurring price, which means your price will never go up. A full year for $150, 6 months for $120, 3 months for $75, monthly $35, and weekly $10. Guys, any of these packages you sign up for, you will be locked into these rates with the Moneyball Metric team. Make sure you guys do take advantage of this. These are some of the best prices I have seen on this Discord in a very long time. Ben, we have one more thing we have to do, which is to get over our best bets of the day. Ben, I'm going to start with you. Do you have one? Do you have two? Do you have three? How many best bets do you have for the people?
I have 3, and we are starting in the NBA, and I'm going to be on the Wolves -8. Kind of broke that one down. I really love that spot for them with the Lakers playing their 3rd game in 4 nights, coming off altitude last night. I think that's a great spot for the Wolves to kind of get right. They need kind of one of these blowout wins, and I think this is a great spot for it. And then 2, in the NFL, I am going to bite on the Broncos. I'm taking the Broncos -6. Honestly, not my favorite best bet on the board, just straight up, but it is still a play I think wins, even with all that public action. And then, for sure, my favorite play tonight is going to be that Chubb under 53.5 rushing yards. I think this is another spot where, coming off a big game, he hasn't hit this once all season before that last game. And yeah, he's getting healthier, but he's just not that workhorse for the Browns right now. And Jameis, as we just talked about, loves to sling the ball, so I think they're going to be throwing a little bit more in this game, especially if they're playing from behind. So those are going to be my 3 best bets. Nick Chubb under is my favorite play, though, tonight.
There we go. I only have one. I only got one tonight, and it's the Cleveland Browns plus the 6.5. I absolutely love them today. And the Browns are my only best bet. The NBA, only a 4-game slate. I'm not pushing anything to a best bet. The Browns play is a multiple unit play for me. It's going to be probably 2.5 or 3 units, which is a very big play for me. That's my best bet of the day. I will have NBA action as well, but those will all be 1U standard plays. Ben, one more thing I got to do is get this on the screen. Everybody get your phones out. Take your screenshots. Yet again, you can see Ben is on the losing Broncos -6.5. He's on Nick Chubb under 53.5, and he is on the Wolves -8. I'm on the Browns plus 6.5. The Wolves almost made a best bet for me. They almost did, but I am going to only be keeping them at a 1-unit play. I did have to go back and forth on that. Ben, it's been a fantastic Monday show, and we have good news for the people. Tomorrow, you get a little 2-man pick and roll from me and Ben yet again.
Pick and roll.
Another pick and roll, baby. We're excited to dive into it. Ben, I wish you the best of luck today. Let's cash all of our bets. Actually, I wish you on all your bets, except the Browns, brother. Except the Browns. So that's the only one I don't wish you luck. Any parting words for the people before we get the hell out of here?
Well, yeah, I was going to say we should make it a cluck bet, but I just don't think I'm confident enough for that because we could do it, and then one of us would have to do it tomorrow, but I just don't.
I've won 5 in a row. You really want to do this? Let's wait. We got to get the guys on Friday. Let's do the cluck bet on Friday.
All right. Well, my parting words to people are good luck tonight. Don't be afraid to take unders on props. I'm doing it tonight. I know no one likes unders, but sometimes they can be really fun, unless the guy gets injured, which you win, which is bittersweet. But other than that, unders are fun. Take unders, people. I see too many people playing only overs.
I like unders as well. I will not go out and tell you they're fun because they're not fun, but I do bet unders myself. Ben, good advice for the people. We'll be back. A little 2-man pick and roll tomorrow. Everyone, good luck tonight, and let's go Browns. Peace.